Well, the weather for the whole of the south of England will continue as it has for the next few weeks. It's going to be hot and moist, with temperatures rising steadily as time goes on. There's a chance of steamy moments as we move into the... sod it. We never wanted to do this. We never wanted to be weathermen and women making innuendos about hot atmospheres and drizzly countries. We didn't want to be child-friendly. We didn't want to bang on about being for over 18s only. We want to talk about our sexy adventures. We want to be lifestylers, leaping from bush to bush as we sail down the rivers of British sex clubs and mountains of crazy experiences. The cheeky purple mamba, the liquid silk pumped liberally into our hand, the rodeo classic brief harness complete with Tantus curve, the Enjoy Pure One stainless steel dildo, the hot octopus digit, the ever so short messages on Fab Swingers, the sexy friends on Twitter, and the mighty vanilla alternative. With my best girlie by my side, we'd swing, swing, swing.
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice, you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well, 'cause it's bed hopping time.
Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
Hi, Mrs. H.
Thank you for joining us today. Today we have a special guest with us and, surprise, surprise, it is not me.
Wow. It didn't take you long, did it?
I know, it didn't take me long. It would have been a surprise if the special guest was me because I'm on every episode
You're
anyway.
literally like the Messiah.
I'm not the Messiah, I'm a naughty boy. Anyway, Mrs. H, who have we got with us today?
Oh my goodness. We are welcoming back the lovely Martyn.
Oh, do you want to give some more context to that? Hello.
He's just Martyn,
He's just
isn't he?
Martyn, isn't he? Everyone knows him as Martyn.
Everyone knows he's Martyn.
It's me, innit?
He was on that show we did, that Channel 4 documentary.
Oh, yeah. And what else?
And he also came to our social.
Yeah.
And he was most recently on Kinky Daters.
Anything else? Any other?
I don't know. What else he's got
have you added to
away,
your
but I don't
resume
know
yet?
about.
You know, what else is going on?
No, I haven't added to that resume just yet.
How are you feeling? You're not actually on television right now.
Sorry.
I mean, to be fair, I'm still on catch up, so it's not too bad. I'm still kind of there.
So-
Yeah, no, it's strange to do different types of things, and it's just about exploring different things as well. It's funny because I've got a lot of friends that seem to send me things, going, apply for this, apply for this, apply for this.
What else are we going to see you on?
Yeah, come
I'm really
on.
excited.
Nothing. I've not agreed to go on to anything else yet. I've kind of left it where it is for now. One a year, I think, is the aim.
Can you go on Naked Attraction? Please go on Naked Attraction.
I'm not going on Naked Attraction.
Why not? What's wrong with Naked Attraction?
What's wrong
You're
with
not
it?
the only ones that said that to me. My brother said that to me. So, yeah, look, go on this. No, I'm not going on Naked Attraction. It's fine.
It'd be amazing. I predict you'll be in the green box and they'll choose you.
Why wouldn't he be choosing?
No, because he'll be in one of the boxes that then gets revealed and
What?
they'll be like, oh my God, it's him.
I'm
Why
starting.
would I not be the one that's choosing?
Yeah, that's what.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Wait, hang on. Don't we swap it around sometimes
No,
and
they
do a bit of both?
Not really. No.
Oh, well, you're the one who's choosing then, in which case we don't get... Oh, no, we do get to see his Willy because then they all have to disrobe at the end, don't they?
Why is it important
I
that
was
we
just
see
trying
his
to work
Willy?
it out.
I think a lot of it comes from the fact that, unlike a lot of people, I think you won't find a picture of my gentleman sausage online.
Oh. Wait. No, he's right. There isn't one.
How much have you looked?
No, I haven't looked at all, but now I think about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it and I haven't.
You're thinking
definitely.
about his Willy and you haven't seen it.
No, honestly, I don't think I have. Oh my God.
I mean, you've paused that TV show that we're on a lot, mostly when you're in it.
Shut up. No, I haven't. I cringe at the bits where I'm in it.
Oh, bless you. Well, Martyn, we've brought you on to cover a few different things. And the first one that I want to talk about was you're the first person that we've spoken to on air, I believe, and I might be wrong about this, that actually came to our social.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the stuff about me out of the way first. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. How was it for you?
He's going to say it's shit now and you'll be like, wow. Damn it.
I was absolutely amazing. I loved every second of it.
Yay.
For me, a lot of it was to do with the fact that I'd spoken to a lot of people, obviously online through Twitter, or Fab Swingers or whatever platform. And to actually see them and meet them face to face after the year and a half we've just had, actually get out and see people again. It was just such an amazing time. Meeting new people as well that I'd not met before. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Really was a great night.
Excellent. So thank you very much for that. First question. Is it true that you coordinated underwear?
There is a rumour going around that you did.
That did happen. We coordinated underwear. I have a certain subscription. He obviously also has the same subscription, and so we were like, we have to wear the same ones. It would be rude not to, really, right? And of course, and obviously from that, the picture was born.
Exactly that. So, and we're talking about LV from His Cock, Her Tail here, and there is a delightful picture of the two of you. In fact, I think there's about 20 pictures.
There's a lot of pictures
of basically you guys in pants.
Yeah.
I think that's...
we were obviously on our best behaviour throughout the evening, and I think that was one of the last things. We've got matching pants. We have to take a picture.
I recall being sat down and they both approached me and said, is it okay if we take a picture? Will we get in trouble? I was like, no, you should go take a picture. That's cool.
They did hide around a corner to do it, which made it feel sort of nicer for everyone else, but probably a little bit sleazier for them.
Yeah, possibly. It was a mix, wasn't it? Yeah, but rather than being right in front of the bar staff going, hey, match your pants.
Perfect. So my second question, Martyn, is, were you part of any of the hijinks that went on that night?
I wasn't part of any of that went on during that evening. I think it was plain to see by myself and Vanilla Isis some of our expressions as things were being done. It was a case of a jaw-dropping moment.
Hijinks. Hang on, are you sitting on a throne of lies? What hijinks are you referring to?
I was no part of it. The only thing that happened to me all night was my jacket got stolen.
Did you actually get your jacket back?
I did get it back, although, she did try to leave with it after the hotel incident.
Mm-hmm.
But I managed to get my jacket back.
And she didn't pull a classy move like leaving her phone number inside the jacket then?
I don't think it was inside the jacket. I think it was already in my phone, I think, at that point.
Look at this smooth operator. Look at him. So smooth.
I'm sure a gentleman never reveals his secrets.
Well, he better do, because we're going to be talking about some of those in a minute.
Multiple witnesses did see the jacket being stolen and hoarded all night.
Is this true?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't mind, she was cold, so...
How? I don't understand. I was boiling.
I was as well.
Really
I think
cold.
I walked in and it was like,
yep,
warm in here.
Yep.
Well, that's because the first thing you saw was us two, clearly.
Well, of course, obviously.
There we go.
It's smoking.
Look at him picking up. He's such a smooth devil, isn't he? So that was the social. I'm glad that you had a really nice time. Looking back, we met you obviously through I say obviously, but not all listeners may know that, but we met you on the Swingers TV show that was on Channel whatever it was. Channel 4 over a year ago now.
Before the pandemic.
Yeah,
we filmed it before the pandemic. Yes, we did.
This is going back some time, right?
It really is.
And
yes, this February will be approaching 2 years. In February, we did the filming.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary. Looking back, how have things changed since you've done that show?
Things changed. They changed a lot to start with. Obviously, especially being a single guy on Fab Swingers, it kind of, hit the amount of messages that I got was quite high. And then from that, I got, invites to certain events and certain things. But obviously, being in the pandemic as we were at the time, all of these things kept getting pushed back and postponed. And, it just kind of had to try and wait it out, so to speak. I've made a lot of friends, really good friends, yourselves included. Quite a lot of them I'd consider more family now than friends. And that's just the way that it's kind of gone, because you could only really talk to people online and things like that. You couldn't really go and meet these people in person. You just build up relationships over text messages and phone calls and things like that instead. But yeah, it's gone really well.
Excellent. And looking back at that time, would you do another one? If they picked up the phone and said, would you be on television? We're going to do another Swingers TV show, a follow on, maybe at a different club.
I think so. I think I would. I mean, it was a great experience doing it. As you know, I've been on Kinky Daters after that, so I quite enjoy going and seeing how things work and things behind the scene and all this, that and the other. And it's a great way for me. It's a great way to kind of show that not all single guys are the same, and but the lifestyle isn't seedy and things like that. And it's, it's a way of kind of expressing these things out to other people to try and get it into the less taboo subjects, shall we say.
Absolutely. Would we go on again, dear?
I think we would, because I think I'd get your FOMO if I didn't. I'd get a healthy dose of FOMO and think, oh man, it could be really good again.
I think that the trick
and there were elements
was,
I would have changed, for sure.
The lack of control is a difficult one, I think, because you never know what's going to be shown and how you're going to be portrayed. But at the same point, I kind of, and this sounds a little bit egotistical, but it's coming from me, so people expect that, I guess, is that I wouldn't want other people to go on and make it look bad.
Yeah, totally.
And in a way, if I'm taking up a slot that makes it look average in any way or better than that, then I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, obviously, because we know what the lifestyle is. We know we know that not everyone is what everyone says they are, and this, that, and you don't get keys and balls and all this, that, the other. To sit and watch someone then perhaps portray that or drag we effectively wanted people to see in the mud, it would be a case of, I don't want somebody else to try and portray it in that way. It's a fantastic lifestyle. So many amazing people started out for me to make friends and all this, and I just think, I think I'd be the same as you, to see somebody else go in and kind of ruin or tarnish what we wanted to try and do and show people. It would be a hard watch, and it would kind of take it back to square one again, I think.
I agree.
Definitely.
I definitely want to be involved again if I could.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to try and, again, do what we've been trying to do for so long, which is to normalize things a little bit and to give it, a better kind of, a better veneer than what the media will tell you it's like, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be good to go back in. Have you stayed in touch with people that you've met on the show?
Obviously stayed in touch with both of you, obviously.
Nice. Thank you.
I spoke to Malik for a little bit after, and then I think there was a few issues. I don't know what kind of happened, but we kind of stopped because we were due to go to a few different places. We kind of planned those, and then all of a sudden, it was 3 weeks later, COVID hit. Then I think it was 3 weeks later, we went into lockdown after we actually filmed.
Yeah.
So that kind of boiled out. But we're friends on Twitter and things. I think that's it. I think I speak to Siobhan every now and again. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So many great stories. I think that's about it. I think it kind of, fizzled out again because of everything that was going on. But yeah, how about yourselves? Do you chat to anyone?
We did with Siobhan for a bit. But again, we kept to ourselves quite a bit. And I think sort of on the night of the show, it was all a bit, I suppose, a bit overwhelming, and it was kind of the event, and we were kind of chatting to various people, and then the next day when we had a chance to meet the people that were the stars of the show, we couldn't hang around as long as we wanted to. So I don't feel as though we made great connections with everybody that was there.
No, and I think even now we're still getting kind of so sort of little things coming after it, going, "Oh, I saw you on that show." So even now people are remembering it and putting face to show and getting in touch and still reminding us of it. So
yeah, it's quite fascinating because obviously when people watch it, they are almost assuming that it was like last night that this happened, because obviously they're watching television.
And it's been aired so many times since, isn't it, on repeat?
Yeah,
so people are still continuing to watch it and put their sort of thoughts out there. So it keeps on.
Yeah, I found out the other day that it's not on 4OD anymore.
Is it not? Oh.
No, someone I had a new lifestyle work. He was like, "Oh, I don't think I ever watched it." And I was like, I had a look. I was like, "It's not on there anymore."
Oh no!
I've got the file, but it's not on the telly anymore. No. But it's funny, actually, a funny story actually, because it was because of my honesty during my second interview for the company I work for currently. Because of that, they said, listen to me on the second interview. What do you do? What do you do in your spare time? What hobbies have you got? I said, well, I'm a swinger. I go to swinging clubs and make friends and all this, that, and the other. And I thought I had to say it because, in case they saw me on the telly.
Yeah.
So it was because of my honesty, straight up honesty then, that it was that got me the job.
It's quite interesting because, I had a conversation with colleagues from work quite recently, and they sort of said they were talking about hobbies and sort of things, and it came up, and a few of the team that I work on now didn't know about the thing, and I hadn't mentioned it to them because I really hadn't had a chance to, I suppose, sit in a room with them because of COVID. Yeah. And, it's the first time the team got together, and of course they were like, "Oh, has anyone ever been on TV?" And every head swiveled round to me like a fucking raptor, And they're like, "Oh, what were you on TV for, Simon?" And I'm like, yeah, let me just explain this."
Passes the popcorn round.
Yeah. But what's been really fascinating from that, I've been able to talk a lot about diversity and inclusion and things like sort of pride. We've been able to do some interesting articles at work where we've talked about Mrs. H's bisexuality and talk about non-monogamy a little bit. So it's actually been quite a fascinating open up, really, having had those further conversations. And it's not that it's been hidden from anybody, because you really can't. It was on national TV. So my assumption is that, people probably know, but obviously not everyone watches Channel 4 and not everyone's going to tune into that one program. But it's been a funny old ride since, and Mrs. H has had lots of sort of opportunities to talk about bisexuality and pride and all these kind of things at her work as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely brought things which I hoped to the forefront and made them more normal and done away with some of those horrible stereotypes that everyone has.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, and I think that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it, is the fact that I just wanted to get people out of that whole stereotype of what they assume it to be, which it isn't. And that's the whole point of why I wanted to take part in the show. And I think to be fair, I think they did. I think they did do a relatively good job with the footage that they had.
I think so, and we've discussed this before on the show. I think there's things that I would change and there's things that I would tweak, but I think broadly it was. I think the most we could hope for is that it wasn't a negative view of it overall, and I certainly didn't come away with the impression that it was really detrimental to the lifestyle and the hobby that we've all got. But this wasn't your only TV appearance, Martyn.
I know. I want to hear about Kinky Daters.
So, how the hell did this come up? Where? How? Why? Tell us.
Well, it was one of those messages I received from a friend of mine, and have a look at this. You should have a look at this. Apply for this. So I was like, okay, well, let's give it a go. Let's see what it's about. I didn't realise at first, as per the advert, until I started doing it, that it was actually a dating show, effectively. So I didn't realise that, but I'd filled it all in, followed the process as you do, and then I got contacted from them, wanting to talk about the kink and things like that, and obviously I made it clear that I'd been on the Swingers documentary, and effectively that was kind of the kink, so to speak, but obviously you can't put that as a necessary kink. So
why can't you put that as a kink?
I don't know. I think it's because it's such a broad thing. There's so many different kind of kinks that can be explored through swinging that I think it was difficult to kind of put it into one context for a show, a dating type show.
Okay.
So, and obviously I told them the fact that, I'm a bit of a switch, I like, to dominate and effectively be dominated. And they were like, fantastic. Yes, we'll definitely go from there. And I was like, okay, no, that's fine. So it happened quite quick. It was a bit of a whirlwind type thing because they were trying to get it the time frame that they had because it was a pilot. And before I know it, the producer's here. He sat on my couch on a Tuesday night, I think it was, and I think he arrived at about 8, and I think we were sat here chatting till about 11:30 at night. So we really got on, and he kind of went from there, really.
Oh, cool. And so was it filmed over a day? Was it a couple of days?
So it was, it was filmed over one day.
Yep.
It was so I went down to London on a Wednesday, something like that. I went down to, and then stayed over the night before. And then the day after that, I was up early. We were doing our day of filming and started off obviously with filming a bit of me and the whole scene and stuff like that, and within the bar area. And then, yeah, it just followed on. Originally, I was supposed to have 3 dates.
Okay.
So I was supposed to have 3 dates and then see how each date goes. And then if they like me and want to go into the playroom, then I get to choose. But because of the COVID restrictions at the time, I had to take a PCR test before, which they paid for. I then had to have a PCR test on arrival to the hotel. And then I had to have one the morning before filming. So there was lots of obviously tests going on to make sure that everyone was clean. And 2 people that I was supposed to be meeting on that dating, obviously I think they might have failed, but they couldn't because of restrictions. So I ended up only having 1 date. A bit disappointed when you go to expect 3. When you go to expect 3 and you get 1. But no, that was, it was good. It went well. We had it was a good time, and we sat and had a good chat. And like most filming, as you're aware, there's lots of waiting around.
Yeah.
And can you just do that again, but slower or faster or with more gusto?
Yeah,
or...
eat this crumpet again.
Yeah.
Aww.
So it wasn't so much in that respect, but because of obviously the type of show it was and what was going to happen after, on the same day, it was a case of I have a date that lasted about half an hour, and then I'd have to wait. I waited for about 4 or 5 hours.
God.
Because they needed to make sure that she was making the right decision.
Yeah.
That it wasn't forced, and she could take the time and really go through it. There was an expert there so that they could walk her through it and stuff like that. And we went over, I helped the guys, the production team dress the kind of scene, the playroom, so to speak. I was over there with them, spending time with them, helping them dress it, put things out, because some of the stuff that was used was my own things. So some of the cuffs and things like that, they were mine. So they were used for me.
Available on eBay for TV used props.
Slightly used props.
Not washed once. They're worth more that way.
Well, hopefully make a bit of money. But yeah, so, and then I walked over with her, we went over before she made the decision so she could walk in and see the environment, see what it was like. And, and then she made the decision she didn't want to do it, but she didn't want to do it. She wanted to do it fully clothed, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Makes it a bit more difficult when you've got the sensory things to use and you've got very limited amount of skin.
Yeah.
But I still had like the inside of her knees and thighs and neck and things like that.
Yeah.
Quite a few of the more sensitive areas. And then, she decided yes. And we went over and did the next stage, shall we say.
And how was that? Because I guess, was it more performative? Was it genuine? What was the feeling of that?
It's strange because normally when you do it in that kind of a context, if it's not in your own bedroom or you're doing it in a club, for instance, there's still lots of people about watching and things like that. So there is always a kind of a level of performance to any kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
But it was weird. It was quite strange. I think for the difficulty I found was obviously having her fully clothed in that respect. She wouldn't have had to have been completely naked, or just down to lingerie or something like that. It would be fine. There would be more areas to stimulate. But yeah, it was still strange to watch kind of people about, and, some people were taking photos and whereas before when it was the documentary, none of that kind of happened. Obviously me and Malika didn't play in the playroom. We went back to our rooms. So, it was a nerve-wracking to start with, but it kind of soon eased in, to be fair. And the first part was she wasn't blindfolded to start with, and I was going through what each thing is and from kind of scaling it up, especially after seeing her reaction to the pinwheel that she thought was something from Saw, which can be quite daunting to look at it. And then we went from there, and the claw and things like that. And then I blindfolded her and we went from there again. And, I went through all the toys and kind of using a couple of different ones at a time, each time and things. And I think we were there for probably same as, what you'd expect. We were there for probably about 2 hours, kind of using different things. And playing around, and obviously, they have to cut it short.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was kind of missed. But no, I loved it. I just kind of who wouldn't love something like that?
Did you get to hang out with the other people on the show?
No. So the day before, I think it was the pup play was the day before mine.
Yep.
So they'd all turned up and they said that was a fantastic time. I was speaking to the producer. He said it was fantastic. Everyone was kind of in awe and, it was amazing. It was a great day. And then the day before that was the dominatrix. So I was kind of the third, same as the kind of showing, the way it was shown on TV. I was the third in line. So I didn't really get to meet any of them. But it wasn't until the next day I found out that we were kind of still in the same hotel.
Oh no.
Yeah, we were in the same hotel the night before. And yeah.
You could have found the pup folks just by the barking in the hotel room, man. You'd have been no problem.
I think they were off busy shopping in Soho. They'd gone off shopping because it was all filmed in London. So they all went off shopping the next day.
Mother truckers. And you had to sit around by yourself in a hotel. Well,
right.
So what happened afterwards? Did you get to hang around with this girl, or is it a gentleman never tells situation?
No, I spent a bit of time with her after.
Okay.
They were ever so great because they were, do you want food and things like that, and constantly asking if I wanted food and all this kind of thing. So I had 5 guys because, it's amazing.
What did you have to
five guys?
She's so pleased with herself with that joke.
I haven't actually, true story, just a segue, I've never had 5 guys.
Well, we may have it on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who have you got coming around?
No.
I was going to say, is that because we got cock blocked by the jury's in?
Yeah, probably.
Could have had 5 guys.
No, we are on Friday. We are off to, and this will be in the past for listeners, but we are off to see Eternals. Going to go see a Marvel film. Very nice to be back in the cinema. And there is a 5 guys there. So
you're right.
Looks like you may get that 5 guys fantasy after all, dear.
Oh my goodness! I could have 5 guys
in and around your mouth.
In and around my mouth whilst I'm watching Eternals.
Kit Harington or whoever it is.
Anyway, I've never had 5 guys.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to watch that this weekend as well.
Oh, really? There we go.
Are you going to have 5 guys as well?
We get the birthday celebration, so it's my birthday next Tuesday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, on the 9th.
On the 9th. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Everyone wish Martyn a very happy birthday.
Again, this will be in the future, in the past.
This will be after this point, but, retroactively.
You might get belated birthday gifts.
Belated birthday
wishes. That sounds really kinky, doesn't it?
That doesn't sound terrible.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't sound terrible itself.
Exactly.
That's like a great night.
So you had your 5 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had 5 guys. We spent a bit of time chatting and having a bit of a kind of get to know each other properly type situation of actually talking when there's no cameras and
cool.
that kind of thing. And then she was staying the night, but I had to come back, so I had to travel back late that night. So I think I left there at about 11:30 at night. I think by the time all the filming had been done. But yeah, so we. It was, I tell you what it was actually, it was England-Germany quarterfinal. It was the Euros, England-Germany. That's when it was filmed.
Okay. This means nothing to me, but...
I remember that.
I remember because I got stuck on the motorway on the way back on the M1.
Oh, okay. Oh, bless you, man. And have you stayed in touch?
Yeah, no, we still text, we still message and stuff. She's on Twitter.
Oh, cool.
So, we kind of talk through there. But yeah, no, she's really nice. She's a lovely girl. We got really well. So we'll just have to... kind of see what happens from there, really.
Oh, fantastic. The final bit that we want to cover with you, and one of the things that we've thought about whilst chatting to you and meeting you is that you are absolutely one of the best representations of single guys in the lifestyle that we've ever met and seen and heard from. And
thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And I think there is a lot that can be learned from listening to how you handle yourself and how you deal with things in the lifestyle, because the amount of crappy messages that we get, the amount of people asking us for advice, all this kind of stuff, often the single guys let themselves down. And I don't think I'm generalizing too much, but I think most of them have been probably some of the worst messages that we've had.
I'm just going to straight up put it out there. Like, why do you think single men in the lifestyle have such a bad rap? Because that is basically, like, they have a terrible reputation. And unfortunately, it is because a majority of them do seem to behave like complete meat flutes.
You just answered your own question.
No, I want to know, like, why, from his perspective, people like they are. Why do you think they get such a terrible reputation?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it is because, let's be honest, the single guy is a very niche market. Yeah, we're not for everyone's cup of tea. We're not what everybody's looking for. You know, not a lot of couples want a single guy or that kind of situation or that kind of scenario. So what doesn't help is you'll probably find 90% of the guys that actually send a message probably sat there at that moment in time with their cock in their hand. That's the reality of it.
That would certainly explain the typing and the spelling.
And the blurry shots.
It's because what they're doing is they're wiping the screen at the same time. I think that one thing for me, I think the one thing that lets a lot of single guys down is they will send a message when they're horny. And that takes away every kind of perception, any kind of coherence that they might have, or any understanding, because all they want is they just want that quick little jerk off and job done. And if they are fortunate enough potentially to get a meet, you'll find then out of that 90% that stays sending messages, you might get 5% that gets replies that are interested in meeting. And out of that 5%, you might find only 1% actually turn up because they're not horny anymore. Unfortunately, effectively, I think that's the reality of it. And that's what lets a lot of single guys down, is the fact that kind of happens. And it's one of the things that I've always done is I kind of stick to the fact that I never send the first message, because it's very hard for a single guy to stand out anyway, in any way, shape or form. So I spent the time with my Fab Swingers profile, just similar to my Twitter. I spend the time trying to make it as stand out as I can in my photos and doing different things and that kind of thing, and make people want to approach me rather than me having to try and approach however many people. With Fab Swingers, I spent a lot of time in the forums. I think what helped me was my first experience of the lifestyle was in Gran Canaria. I found myself sat round tables with like 30, 40 people, and we're all having a drink, we're all having a laugh, we're having a chat. So I learned a lot of the lifestyle from these people from all different walks of life, some single guys, couples, single females. And I got a lot of understanding. And I think that was within the first, 2 months of me joining Fab Swingers. So I learned a lot very early on. And I think if people want to learn this and learn how to maybe approach couples or single females or anybody, get yourself to a club. Now the clubs are all open again. Get yourself to a club. Just sit there, talk to people and take in what they're saying, and learn from it. I
think there is a trick to it, I think. And it's definitely, you're absolutely right to sort of observe and sort of see what's going on and sort of take the time to understand how people work. And all too often, I mean, we've been to some clubs where the single guys that are there basically follow you around with a cock out. Mm-hmm. It's, and I've got to wonder, has that tactic ever worked for anybody? Genuinely, is that?
Yeah, what is the hit ratio of that? Do they ever actually land anywhere with it?
I mean, to be fair, he's probably hitting quite a lot of things, but whether someone wants to hit him, I think that's the...
And sometimes you do reply to messages, don't you? And you say, dude, genuinely, do you find this approach that you're adopting in these messages to be successful? Really? Like, sit and think about it. Do you ever actually get a message back saying, you know what? I was literally just thinking I would like to see a picture of a cock. Thank you.
And I think that's it. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. You won't find a picture of my cock online. It's not in my Fab Swingers profile. It's not on any of my Twitter profiles.
It's not even in Channel fucking 4.
No, it's not.
It's close, but it's not.
No, just my arse quite a few times, I think. Just think, there are some things that left to mystery. I don't think I've ever even sent one via messaging from Fab Swingers, if I'm honest.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, you want to see, you want to find out, you want to see me, and you want to see what's in my pants. Then my little gentleman sausage. Then by all means, meet me. Just don't I'm not going to send you random pictures because how do I know that you are who you say you are to start with? And I think for me, would I be happy with my family seeing a picture of my cock online?
I was going to say
Probably
it's a
not.
good point, but then I thought there's a pun in that.
But selling them for a tenner a pop signed pictures on eBay was an absolute work of genius.
It
Couple
does.
more maps, I'm in retirement.
Yeah, I am staggered about how many men literally they either follow, they lead with this picture, or they very quickly like, this is my cock.
I think it's the profile pictures of just a cock that I'm really surprised.
Really?
Well, it's not even that. I think it's
Does it
that.
define you? No.
But you play to your audience. It's like gonna see a Rolling Stones concert, and if all they played was new hits, no one would stay there. Like, and the same thing. If all you can do is just shove a picture of a cock there as your profile, no one's gonna. Like, honestly, I cannot fathom how many people respond to those pictures.
No.
Like,
I mean, there must be. Some people must.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
But for the vast majority of people that we've spoken to on our adventures, it's almost like an instant block if someone sends you a message and their profile is a dick pic.
Yeah, the majority of people do seem to be quite weary of this strange approach. So you've got to wonder, why do they keep doing it?
Yeah, see, I had my very first one beginning of this year, I think it was. My very first dick pic sent to me.
You
really?
had a dick pic sent to you?
Yeah, to me. On Fab Swingers, I think I actually posted the chat on Twitter, and I just merely asked him. I said, look, I want to educate myself because I don't do it myself. What are you expecting to happen from sending me that picture? And his response was, I don't know.
Well, at least he's honest.
And that's it. But I thought, I was like, you don't know. What do you expect me to say when you send me? I mean, first of all, you can see my profile. It says straight. Second of all, I don't know what you expect me, what you expected to come back. And it's like, well, it's a given, isn't it? What do you mean it's a given? Wow, that's what happens on sites like this. Well, no, it's not. And this is the misconception. And this is the big, he's like, well, I get hundreds all the time. Well, that's nice for you. Have you ever asked anybody why? Well, no. Well, then you're not educating yourself into, and it just follows on and follows on. And it's like, at the end of the day, like I said to him, I says, I'm not saying it's any way in shape or form in any way near as physical, but I says, effectively, you sexually harassed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we tell people that.
Yeah. And he was like, well, I didn't mean to offend. I said, you're not offending me. I'm just making, did you know that? He was like, no, I didn't know that. And this is the thing. And I think this is what a lot of people don't understand. By sending those unwanted pictures of, it could even be tits or anything.
Yeah.
By sending a sexually explicit photo to anybody that hasn't asked for it, you have effectively sexually assaulted them.
Correct.
And that's the level of education people need. And he was shocked when I said that. And he was like, well, yeah, but lots of people do it to me, but it doesn't make it acceptable for you to then do it to other people.
No, you're
Just
right.
because someone said it to you doesn't mean you can do it to other people. There was a big argument then, I think, that flowed from Twitter from that.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of went back and forth. And it's like, look, if that's what you like receiving those pictures, then there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you stipulate that within your profile, then there's nothing wrong with that. If you want random men to send you pictures of their cock, then it's great. That's what you like. That's what you like. That's what you enjoy, knowing that you've got some man heart. That's fine. As long as that's in your bio, effectively, that you don't mind them. If you don't want them, you shouldn't have to put that you don't want.
100% agree. It's interesting because actually we had a message on Fab the other day where the couple had sent us just pictures of their junk, pretty much.
Yeah.
Both of them had sent pictures of the junk. And there wasn't a face picture in there. And I said, well, okay, but what do you actually look like? Like, how can I make an informed choice about this? Because one assumes I'm going to have to speak to you at some point. And then they sent their face pictures, and now I know why they sent pictures of their junk. But it's true, isn't it? It's like you don't, when you meet someone, you speak to the face. You that's who you become attracted to, and often the rest of the body isn't quite so important.
No, I think you'd be quite disturbed if I'd have come to your social and was just stood there looking at you, trying to look at your cock all night, through your trousers, going, I don't recognise that part of you. I don't recognise the face. I recognise that bit down there.
Talk to the cock because the face ain't listening.
It's so difficult. I can't emphasize enough to people. I don't want to get to know you on the basis of your genitals. But that's literally the furthest thing from my mind. I want to get to know the personality. I want to see where is the person and the mind, and why do I need to see a picture of your junk? It's just a baffling concept to me that that's what you would decide to define yourself as.
It's such an interesting thing. But what I do want to say, I'm going to pay you another compliment here as well. So bear with for a moment. One of the things that I do enjoy about Martyn is that he is always supremely dressed.
Yes, he does know how to dress.
And one of the things that we found about men in the lifestyle, not just single guys, particularly the single guys, but actually men in the lifestyle, is they don't seem to make an effort.
I mean, some do.
But broad strokes,
could learn from him.
a lot of people could learn from dressing up in a decent way. Tell us about your fashion sense, Martyn. How's it going?
We know how much you iron shirts because we've seen that on the documentary.
On the documentary? Where were you looking?
The documentary. It's always talk of cocks.
She's got junk in her mind.
She's got cock fever. We're going to have to calm her down in a minute, I tell you.
It's because he started to work with Five Guys. I'm just saying we saw him ironing a lot.
Yeah, I just think the work I do working in warehousing, logistics and distribution, I don't get to wear a suit all that often. When I do manage to get to an event where I can wear a suit, I'll put a suit on. It doesn't matter what suit it is, even if it's kind of, a bit of a mismatch with a jacket and waistcoat. It's, a three-piece suit. I will always put on a three-piece suit, even when I go to a club. Even when I go to a club on a normal Saturday night, no big event, I'll put my suit on because, it makes me feel great. I love wearing a suit. And I just think I'm trying to put my best self across and trying to make myself stand out from people. Going to a swinging club with a suit on makes you stand out quite significantly.
I agree.
And people always come and pay compliments to me. Oh, I like your suit, nice suit. And it's great, and that makes me feel even better. And again, I've stood out from the other guys that are in there in tatty t-shirts, jeans, and maybe some sloppy trainers or something. And I think that's the big thing.
And plus, if any nice ladies get cold, they can steal your jacket.
Of course, and I've still got a waistcoat, so just keep warm.
It's a fiendish move. Fiendish.
Yeah, no, I just think, like I say, I think, everybody will see someone with their first impression, regardless of what they say. They will put a impression on what they look like. We can all say, oh, I go for the personality. Within the first 5-10 seconds, you'll know if you like someone because their personality. It's that instant look, what they look like. Do they look approachable? Do they look nice? Do they smell nice? And then it goes from there. So if you're not putting yourself on display effectively, like an advertisement, you're a bigger billboard effectively, you're not giving yourself the best chance to be able to talk to people, let alone be invited to have chats and things like that.
It's interesting, actually, that you mentioned smelling nice, because what did you say, dear?
When? I need to speak carefully now.
No,
you're going to catch me out with something.
No, you said that Martyn smelled very nice.
I did.
You can elaborate on that.
Can I?
Yeah.
What can I say?
What do you want to say?
Well, I don't know what I should say now. He's looking at me like, oh.
It's not a trap. I'm not Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's not that.
I think it's a trap.
It's not a trap.
I said he smelled lovely.
There we go.
Is that it?
Well, you can elaborate on that if you want to.
It's definitely a trap.
It's definitely not. And now she's made everyone feel strangely awkward. Even you, gentle listener, are feeling awkward for Mrs. H's face right now.
I did genuinely say that you smell amazing because you that night of the social, yeah, absolutely. I was very drawn to that.
We've met him a few times. He's not smelt very good every other time.
That's not true.
I had a special wash that night.
All right. Just a towel.
Smell is really, really, really important. And it's one of the first things I probably notice about people anyway, because when you lean in for a hug and, you get a bit closer to someone, then it's having a nice smell about you makes you want to lean in closer. It makes you want to get to know you a bit more. So, when you can't detect something nice smelling, then you're like, oh, kind of less interested, I suppose.
I remember we played with a couple once.
Oh my God.
And Mrs. H leant in and I saw a look on her face and I didn't know what was going on. And later on, we caught up after some tomfoolery. And she was like, he didn't smell of anything at all.
I'm still baffled.
It was like the smell of death, like just emptiness.
Right. He literally smelled of nothing. Nothing. Like not
Nothing.
even soap.
Nothing, tra-la-la.
I am still baffled to this day. How do you have was he a vampire? I don't know. Like, I don't know why that.
There's got to be some kind of smell.
No,
Sure, this wasn't
nothing.
COVID and you were
Oh
a
my
bit...
God, no. It was
This is
way
well before
that.
COVID. Well
But
before
genuinely, I couldn't, and I kept leaning in thinking, there'll be something, even if it's like shower gel or soap or something, or even like warm skin has an aroma of some kind. No, nothing.
That's strange.
It left me quite devoid of that sense.
COVID. Absence of smell.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when you
What
think
perfume
about
is
those,
that? Absence.
but you know what, like you rely on your senses, don't you, to get you through things sometimes, not in a bad way, but in a positive way. I mean, I personally use things like my sense of smell will really like shape a situation or an environment. It will give me something, either good or bad, depending on how it smells. And the same with, hearing things and like, being blindfolded, then all your other senses are kind of heightened. To have no aroma at all really, really left me kind of, I don't know what to do. I'm normally turned on by a nice smell. It's not happening. So it really went through me.
I'd imagine it would be quite disturbing to not have any smell at all. Nothing at all. That's strange.
Very, very odd. So, I mean, it can be like overpowering is obviously also not great, but I think actually I would have taken that over the absence of nothing. You always smell lovely.
Thanks.
It's so important, isn't it?
Well, I like to have a bit of a signature smell. Hint of Mr. H,
Five
folks.
Guys. Yeah.
Five Guys. Fucking hell. You've got something on the brain. I'm not sure whether it's food or men, but it's definitely something.
I'm joking.
I think with things like smells, with perfume, especially in aftershave and things like that, there's it takes time to find the right one for your body, your own natural odor. Because certain ones, you might smell it on the little sticks that you get. And so that's really nice. Put it on you, and it just doesn't smell anything like it because of your natural body odor. Which is why I tend to stick with Mont Blanc. Because it accents my natural smell really well. So, and it lasts longer than on my skin as well. So you find you only have to have a couple of sprays.
So I wonder how many single guys are now out there looking for a suit, getting some Mont Blanc and beefing up their profile and waiting for those messages to roll
and
in.
hopefully deleting all their cockpits
We
from
can only
their
hope.
various profiles. Let's hope
I mean,
so.
look, if it stops them from having profile pictures of just their gentleman sausage, then it's perfectly fine. They can go and get themselves some nice suits.
So what would you suggest that men put as pictures on their profiles then, rather than these gentleman sausages you're referring to?
I think just use your imagination. I think, there's so many different types of pictures you can do. Even if you take inspiration from other men's photos that seem to get on with a lot of people, then by all means go and do your own variation of that photo. Look at maybe some of the top pics in Fab Swingers, or some of the most liked men's photos on Twitter that doesn't necessarily have gentleman sausage in, and take inspiration from them. Take inspiration from those and put your own little spin on it, whether it is a suit or half a suit or just trousers or anything like that. Just take inspiration from any other people's photos, and that's what they're for. And you'll find that the guys that you've taken that inspiration from are actually flattered that you've decided, actually, I really like that photo. Let's take an inspiration from it. I got a lot of mine from the forum challenges on Fab Swingers, taking part in those and just kind of trying to think outside the box with some of the ones for books. There's one of my most fab pictures of me lying on a bed with some books around me with my trousers on. And I sellotaped my phone to the ceiling. I sellotaped my phone to the ceiling to get that angle, because it's obviously my arm's not that long and it was that natural. But things like that as just, trying to think outside the box of any kind of photos, I think will always work well.
I think there's something to be said for having personality in your pictures. And I think it can be harder to do that without putting your face out there, but it's absolutely possible to do it. And looking at inspiration, whether it's, like you say, on Fab, or whether it's looking just at even like catalogs and stuff, just to get an idea of different poses, or how light can impact your picture, or maybe do it in black and white, or maybe put a fun filter on it. I say fun, don't put those stupid little icons and everything else on it. And colour pops, I'm sick to death of fucking colour pops.
Oh my God, you really hate colour pops.
Yeah, I've seen too many of them now. I'm done with the colour pop thing. But, all of these things are absolutely possible. And things like Halloween are a great opportunity, because if you're in costume, you're like, oh, let's take a picture of my costume, because that's a talking point. And that gives people an in to go, oh, wow, I saw on your profile, that you've got a picture of you dressed up as, I don't know, such and such from Battlestar Galactica. Or maybe you've mentioned something that you like in your profile. And it just gives them an in to explore a conversation with you. And that makes things so much easier.
Do you have a costume of Battlestar Galactica somewhere?
Do I? No. No, I don't. I don't think I've ever dressed up as. There is literally in the video camera, Martyn can see the edge of a Star Trek uniform hung up.
Oh yes,
I can. Yes.
That's the arm. You're correct.
That is the arm of a Worf costume. Next to that is actually a Freddie Mercury costume. And if there's one thing that swinging has taught us, is that you need a fuck ton of costumes to get by.
I mean, they're not. You don't have to have them, but they can be really fun element of
exactly
swinging.
that. So, before we wrap things up, Martyn, are there any other top tips that you would offer to single guys in the lifestyle?
I think a lot of it is, don't be too forward, shall we say. Find out what you want. Gauge what you want from the lifestyle. If it is just a quick £1 thank you, then I don't think the lifestyle's for you. To be fair, if you want to make friends and have people that effectively will become more family and lasting relationships with the most honest and open people in the world, and sex is kind of in the background, then it's definitely the lifestyle for you. There's always going to be a lot of pushbacks. There's always going to be a lot of negatives. You just have to kind of roll with it and go with it. If you're doing it for an ego boost, then you ain't going to get that ego boost at all. And I think that's what a lot of guys will try and do, especially now that over the past year or so, now that we are out of lockdown, everything's kind of reverting back to normal. A lot of guys kind of like, well, I've started on this thing. Let's try and see if I can keep going and keep trying to get the end away, so to speak. And it doesn't work like that. I think that's the massive misconception that a lot of single guys have. Just be patient. Use it as a tool to make friends. And get yourself out there and get yourself to actual clubs. Yes, it's a bit more expensive for a single guy, but it's because you are a niche market. You're not what everybody wants, and you don't want a towel invader wandering around.
Nobody wants a zombie shuffle wanker whatsoever in a club.
No one wants that. No one likes that. If they do, I think it might be in the wrong place.
But also, don't do that in Sainsbury's. Just putting that out there.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Aldi's fine. Aldi's fine.
I mean, if you're doing that while you're walking around Sainsbury's, then you've definitely took a wrong turn somewhere.
Exactly that, mate. Martyn, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on and to chat with you again. I love the fact that Mrs. H is still thinking about perfume and stumbling over whatever it was she was going to say there.
It's definitely a trap.
It's definitely a trap. Where can people find you in the world? If they want to follow Martyn, is there a place where they can go and kneel down before you and give you the praise that you so rightfully deserve?
Worship you. Worship your gentleman sausage.
I'm on Fab Swingers as Moreno0969 and also on Twitter as Martyn Melgar.
Fantastic. Folks, give him a follow. Please do. You'll enjoy the conversation. When he's around and about and he's chatting, he's always a delight.
Yeah, he is.
So thank you very much for joining us. Mrs. H, do you want to do your thing?
I do. Thank you for hopping into our bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
she told me recording in progress.
Is that you?
Also, I apologise. I'm in pajamas. Actually, I'm not even sorry. I'm not sorry.
That's all right.
Thanks, babe.
It's
Adding so much.
No,
Yeah,
it's
they
not
are.
very
They're
sorry.
adding so much value. Isn't
She
it?
got them, and she's like, "These are so soft." And literally, she sort of was like, "Just feel them." And literally, she was almost going,
They're literally the softest things I've ever put on me.
"Really?"
Yeah.
I don't know. You've met a few guys after a few drinks, and
Oh my god! You make it sound like I surrounded myself with soft phalluses or something.
it wouldn't surprise me.
Although, do you remember that time when I told you, I revealed that, you'll laugh at this, I told Simon that I thought when I was younger, penises, I hope your little man's not around still, penises are furry, like all the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was just about to say.
I genuinely thought the hair went all the way, like not just in the ball area. I thought it went all the way at the shaft and then all the way at the top. And then I thought the entire willy was going to be furry.
There's some moments when you're really glad that you've hit record already, and this
Oh my God.
is one of them.
Yeah. This is definitely it's definitely one
Yeah,
of
this is an
the
outtake for
extras.
sure.
Turns out they are not.
Anything else you'd like to confess to?
Oh God, no,
Yeah.
now I know you're recording.